After 25 years of marriage, my unfaithful wife abandoned me for a younger man. However, when she decided to waltz into my exclusive club with the intention of publicly degrading me, she had no inkling of the shock awaiting her. As she watched, I strolled out confidently with 3 breathtaking young women. Turning to one of them, I smirked and murmured, "Tonight, you'll be keeping me entertained." The disbelief on Vanessa's face was priceless, but what followed was even more devastating for her. The embarrassment she had meticulously planned for me paled in comparison to the ruthless retribution I was about to deliver. For 25 years, I had been the epitome of a devoted husband. I built a life from the ground up alongside Vanessa, my wife, believing we were an unbreakable team striving for shared dreams. I was a struggling entrepreneur, laboring to establish a business, and she was the woman who vowed to stand by my side through it all. When my business finally flourished, I ensured she had everything: an opulent mansion, lavish vacations, a vehicle tailored to her tastes, and complete financial security. Never in my wildest thoughts did I imagine she would toss it all away for something as pitiful as a fleeting midlife crisis. The warning signs were subtle at first. She grew distant. Our conversations became brief, and the laughter that once belonged exclusively to me was now reserved for someone else. Then one evening, she sat me down and delivered the fatal blow. "David, I've met someone." I stared at her, struggling to process the words. "You've met someone?" My voice barely concealed my disbelief. She nodded, utterly unfazed. "He's younger, exhilarating, and makes me feel things I haven't felt in years. I don't want to hurt you, but I think it's time we part ways." I sat in silence, my mind reeling. The woman who had once vowed to stand by me through everything was discarding me simply because I was no longer exciting. Then she drove the final dagger into my chest. "You're just too predictable now, David, and I deserve to feel alive again." That was it. 25 years reduced to insignificance. I wasn't even angry, just numb. A week later, I signed the divorce papers and walked away without resistance. At least, that's what she thought. In the aftermath of Vanessa's departure, I spiraled. The emptiness of our once shared home was suffocating, and the thought of her in another man's arms tormented me. I could have drowned in self-pity, but I made a different choice. I channeled my pain into something greater. I threw myself into expanding my business empire, but I also underwent a complete transformation. I hit the gym relentlessly, refining my physique. I revamped my style. Gone was a conventional, predictable businessman. In his place stood a polished, confident, and commanding man. Then I took things a step further. Using my financial prowess, I acquired an elite gentleman's club, not a seedy dive, but an exclusive, high-end establishment where the affluent and influential gathered. It became a roaring success, drawing celebrities, politicians, and powerful moguls. I controlled it all. I wasn't the David she had discarded. I had become someone unrecognizable, someone beyond her reach. And soon, she would see for herself. 3 years passed. Vanessa had been living what she thought was a dream. But her new boy toy lacked the wealth, stability, and lifestyle to which she had grown accustomed. Her pride kept her from admitting it. But reality had begun to sink in. Then one fateful night, she unknowingly stepped into my club. From my vantage point in the VIP lounge, I spotted her sauntering in with a group of her old friends. She laughed boisterously, flaunting herself, likely hoping to capture someone's attention. Then I heard the words that sealed her fate. "God, men, these days are so dull. I need a real man again." I bet David is still miserable, probably rotting in some dingy little apartment all alone. Her friends chuckled, but I merely smirked. She had no clue she was standing in my empire. She had no idea I was watching her every move. And she certainly had no idea what was about to unfold. I decided to serve Vanessa the humiliation she had so eagerly prepared for me. Rising from my seat, I made my way toward the bar, ensuring I passed right by her. The moment our eyes met, she froze. "David?" she whispered, her expression morphing into shock. I didn't spare her a single glance. Instead, I approached a group of dazzling young women, models, influencers, and high-profile socialites who commanded attention. Smiling, I brushed my fingers down the arm of a breathtaking brunette in an elegant silk dress. "Tonight," I murmured smoothly, my voice laced with confidence, "you'll be keeping me entertained?" She giggled, leaning into me, clearly intrigued. Behind me, Vanessa's jaw dropped. Her friends' amused expressions evaporated, their faces burning with second-hand embarrassment. She had come here to shame me. Instead, she stood there, stunned and envious, as I walked out with 3 striking women draped around me. But that was just the beginning. The real reckoning was yet to come. I received a message. It was from Vanessa. "David, I didn't know. Can we talk?" I smirked. She had taken the bait. She had come expecting to see me as a pitiful, washed-up relic of my former self. Instead, she had witnessed me at my peak, flourishing, powerful, and surrounded by success and stunning women. Now, she wanted to crawl back. I responded with a concise message. "Meet me at the club. We'll talk there." She arrived later that evening, desperation clinging to her like an overpowering cheap perfume. I let her talk, let her ramble about her regrets, how she missed me, how she had made a colossal mistake. Then I smiled and delivered the final dagger to her heart. "Before we talk, I want you to meet someone." I gestured toward a breathtaking young woman standing beside me, elegant, radiant, and poised. "Vanessa, this is my fiancée." Her face crumbled, her lips parted, but no words escaped. "Oh, and one more thing," I continued, reveling in her dismay. "I own this club. Welcome to my empire." She stumbled back, utterly shattered. I leaned in and whispered, "You left me for someone younger. Now you're alone." And I traded up. With that, I turned and walked away. Vanessa stood frozen, her entire world crumbling before her. But I wasn't finished yet. Public humiliation was merely the first step. I didn't want her to suffer for just one night. I wanted her to endure the same descent into despair that I had when she discarded me. I wanted her to grasp the agony of being left with nothing. First, I ensured she became a social pariah. During our marriage, Vanessa had built her identity around being the wife of a successful businessman. She had access to the most elite circles, invitations to the most exclusive events, and connections that granted her status. But those circles, they were mine to command now. With my newfound success, my influence stretched into high-end business gatherings, luxury galas, and exclusive parties. So, I made a few discreet calls. By the end of the week, Vanessa noticed something peculiar. Invitations stopped arriving. Friends who once fawned over her suddenly ignored her messages. The very people she had used to validate her existence were turning their backs on her. And the best part? She had no clue why, until she finally pieced it together. Vanessa had never been as independent as she pretended. Sure, she had received a generous divorce settlement, but she burned through it recklessly, lavishing her new boy toy with extravagant gifts. And now, she was struggling. I decided to accelerate her downfall. Through my network, I subtly planted rumors at her workplace. Carefully, methodically, word spread that she was financially unstable, desperately clawed her way back up the social ladder. In the corporate world, desperation is a death sentence. People stopped trusting her. Job opportunities evaporated. Her reputation soured. Suddenly, she had to downsize, selling her luxury car, moving out her opulent apartment, slashing the lavish lifestyle she once flaunted. And her new lover? He dumped her the instant the money dried up. Vanessa was now a mere shadow of the woman she once was, broke, abandoned, socially exiled. But I still wasn't done. I wanted to leave her with a final lesson, one she would never forget. I arranged a meeting. Not at the club, not at a Michelin-starred restaurant, at a modest, mid-range coffee shop, the kind of place she once turned her nose up at. She arrived, dressed humbly, her once unshakable confidence replaced with palpable uncertainty. "David, thank you for meeting me." I simply nodded, letting her speak first. She hesitated, choosing her words carefully. "I made a mistake. I was foolish. I let go of the best thing in my life. I thought I wanted excitement, but I didn't realize how much I needed security. I know I don't deserve it, but can we start over?" I studied her, allowing the silence to stretch. Then I let out a quiet chuckle. "Vanessa," I said smoothly, "I think you're misunderstanding something." Her brows knitted in confusion. "What do you mean?" I leaned forward, my gaze unwavering, relishing the way she squirmed under my scrutiny. "I didn't come here to rekindle anything," I said, my tone calm and precise. "I came here to see the woman who threw me away for a younger man, only to end up alone, penniless, and pleading." Her complexion turned ashen. "David, I raised a hand, cutting her off. "You thought I'd be your safety net? That after you humiliated me, after you shattered me, I'd welcome you back like some pathetic fool?" I smirked, savoring the moment. "I just wanted to watch you realize firsthand that I moved up in the world while you hit rock bottom." Her lips trembled. Her eyes glistened with unshed tears. She had nothing left to say. I stood, tossing some cash on the table for my coffee. Then I delivered one final blow. "I hope the younger men were worth it, Vanessa, because now no one wants you anymore." And with that, I walked away. Vanessa tried to reach out after that meeting. She called. She texted. She even showed up at the club. I ignored her. She had sealed her own fate years ago. She had traded stability for thrill, devotion for recklessness, love for lust. And in the end, she was left with nothing. And I walked away stronger than ever, living a life she would never be a part of again. Because the truth is simple. Some betrayals can never be forgiven. And when karma comes knocking, it collects every last debt. Was this revenge justified? Or did it go too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you love ruthless pro-revenge stories, make sure to subscribe for more. Don't forget to like and share. Your support means the world. Thank you.